Remember when I said significant on the Bentley video? This is the start of the show from my whole in while I was in Singapore. This is the casting that I've been wanting for for the last few months already, and I'm glad I finally got the video because these will be available for the next month or so. That's why the launch, yo. This is the Jaguar XJS HE from Walkinshaw Racing. I'm so excited to reveal this guy. I remember I saw this guy. It was first teased by Inno64, and then a month later, I believe, BM Creations also revealed their XJS. It's like, oh boy, this is gonna be interesting when these two clash. And yeah, this is the first time we had an XJS and 164 scale for a long time. BM Creations will release theirs this year in 2023. I'll try nab a BM Creations a Jaguar XJS myself to compare with this guy. I believe they'll be doing a Walkinshaw Racing variation as well. I can't remember if they're doing the Walkinshaw variation as well, but what I do know is that they'll do a road are also doing a road car version. I saw. It's kind of funny because I saw both this and the road car version in Toy Space. Well, of course, I only got the Walkinshaw variation because this thing costed me 32.90 Singaporean dollars. Oops, 32.90 Singaporean dollars. That's significantly quite higher than how much I would get in the Philippines through not hobby stock, shop for fun. They're quite expensive in the Philippines than in Singapore. They're quite expensive in Singapore rather than in the Philippines. Of course, shop for fun won't get this guy in next month or so, unless I might be wrong. Yeah, I'm excited for the casting, but first we'll take a look at the box. This is a pretty nice box design. Look at the white base, background. This is so good. On the box, you get the TWR Racing ETCC Spot Funky Shop 1984 winner. Of course, you got the Inno64 logo in white with the stripes. Also, the official name for it's actually quite it's correct based on the entryways. Of course, Walkinshaw Racing, Jaguar Racing with Motul to be entered in the year's 24 hours of Spa. ETCC, of course, the European Touring Cup or Championship. But regardless, this is in fact part of the European Touring Car Championship at this point. Of course, 1984 was the year 301. Of course, we'll talk about the trio in just a second. But you got a white base, so we'll go out here. Of course, it says the same thing on the base. You got the HJS badge with a red stripe. Number 12, of course, car is number 12. This is number 12 because there was already a number 1 car, which we'll talk about in just a second. You got the Inno's logo in the back of the base. Oh, it's small. Oh, it's embossed on the base. Okay. Yeah, that's it for the base. That's it for the box. Oh, it just fell off. This is actually a separate piece from the slipcover. You can see this is the slipcover. Of course, this is the slipcover. This is a separate piece. Look at that silhouette of the XJS. Oof, that's so good. Of course, you got the website right there. Of course, this is standard for all Inno64 releases. They have the wigglies. Have wigglies. There's technically no wigglies. Just it actually has some kind of warning. Of course, there's a way to contact them in Facebook, the Jaguar logo, the licensing. That's the only bit of wigglies that I know. That's actually right there. A barcode if you want to try to look for this product. And of course the name code for the product. And yeah, that's it for the box and the slipcover as well. Let me put this back in a second. And now let's get to the main attraction, the diecast. Oh, okay, there. For some reason, yeah, it's only on this side of the wheel. Now, the reason why I'm a massive fan of the casting. Of course, this is one of the few Innos that they released in 2022, last year in fact, that rolls. Yes, this guy does actually roll. The roll card rolls as well. Because I looked pictures from one of the guys I knew of that has an XJS as well. That one seems to roll as well, which I'm a massive fan of. Of course, this is number 2. This is a really well done casting, I must say. I love how this casting looks. Where this is either ways to scan or just use data from Jaguar and Walkinshaw themselves. Walkinshaw Racing rather. This is absolutely spot on. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the drivers on the intro. Tom Walkinshaw, of course. Hans Heya and Win Percy, who was one of Walkinshaw's best friends on that track. I don't know if they're actually best friends on off track though. And number 3 is that this delivery is also spot on. Now, they ran a number 1 throughout the season, throughout the 1984 season. But as per tradition, at this point, is that they are number 12 because the year before, because in 1983 the race was won by Dieter Quest, Hans Hockenstuck and James Weizen. First, the race was won in 1983. First, the race winners in 1983 were. Let me give it a sec. Of course, number. Because for tradition, this is the number 1. Of course, because they did not actually win that race. Because they did not actually win the race. That race was won by Vasco's Yuma Racing Team in the hands of Thierry Tazan, Minhen, and Heyer, who won the race before. Won the race the year prior before joining Walkinshaw. So number 1 was under the BMW Italia banner in hands of Dieter Questa, Ansel van Stoek, and James Lever. They ran the number 12 because of BMW Italia, like I just mentioned before. We'll get past that. We'll get past the results for now. Get to the actual start of the show, the diecast. Now I have to be very careful because of there's a wire which is very thin, and it's not like thick. This will be on the yeah, the CM1 show. If I remember, if I can't remember, yeah, CM1 show, whatever. Yeah, it should be right, but I can't think of, can't remember on top of my head. As we get to the front bumper, of course, on the footer you got the motor logos and a Dunlop. Which Dunlop was the tire supplier for Walkinshaw at this point. As you get to the chrome front bumper, of course, you got the indicators which are painted. There's a texture on the front bumper, which is kind of neat. Oh, it's because of the tow hook. That's right. There's a tow hook. They actually molded it for the XJS. See the headlights, which are kind of like this, which is not 100% opaque plastic. It's kind of half and half. You can see the headlights, but not really. As we get back to the front bumper though, of course, Motul, mine's chipped for whatever reason, and the Tom Walkinshaw Racing logo in the middle of the front bumper in black. Of course, you get the grille. I don't know if this has a texture. I can't really feel the texture. It's had to be very careful handling this thing. Of course, on the bonnet, you got the warning signs. The vent is painted. Oops, just went out of focus for whatever reason. You got the number. The number is 12. The Jaguar typeface, and the bonnet scoops. Yeah, there are no bonnet scoops in them. Yeah, there are two in the Bentley. I don't know. Yeah, they're kind of molded on the lines here. I have them in hand just in case. I literally just finished reviewing them a couple minutes ago. Yeah. As you get to the side of the car though, this is getting interesting. You got the motor typeface again on both sides of the car. Of course, you got the Jaguar logo right here. Of course, like I mentioned before reviewing this, they named the names of the drivers with their first names and their flag and their nationalities. You got the mirrors, which are I think, yeah, these are hard plastic, not rubber plastic. As you continue down the side, you got the number plate, which is on the white block in the mirror, of course. You got Ricardo, Speed One and Champion, and Bilstein on both sides of the skirts. Both sides of these skirts, rather. First, you got the exhaust pipe. Oh god, I have to be very careful again. I don't want to break off the sound. The antenna. Of course, unlike the mini GTs and of course unlike the two mini GTs. Tire detail, of course. Dunlop. Of course, there's a tire decal on the Inno64. Dunlop, of course, is the support for Walkinshaw, like I mentioned before. Of course, the main sponsor was Jaguar Deutschland through Heya. As you get to the rear fender, then TWR, Motul, and Dunlop. Of course, it's kind of a US spec bumper for whatever reason. I think it was, for some reason, I think US spec because of the wing, so the length of the rear bumper. But that was actually in the car that way. Just wanted to point that out. Of course, the rear. So, there's some kind of like a foil on the rear mirrors, which I do. On the side view mirrors, which I do appreciate. As you get to the rear bumper, of course, TWR, the Jaguar logo, the typeface, or just badge, rather, typeface badge. Moto, kind of like a half and half on the rear bumper as well. The steel, the silver top and rest of it is black. Of course, you got the tool hook here as well. Of course, you got the fuel lines on the boots, and of course the interior I do appreciate as well. They also painted the driver's seat. Can barely see the interior because it's, yeah, you can't see it. But do have the rear defroster, which are just actually there in the car. Guys, you can see the roll cage is molded. They're that way in both the Walkinshaw and the Bentley. You see the Bentley. You can barely see the roll cage. So how tiny the interior on the Bentley is. Yeah, I can barely see it because of the reflection as well. Yeah, that's it for the interior. It's the same type as the left as per usual. Also, mine has also multiple typefaces of black mold. There we go. Clean it off. I think that was just dust. Yeah, just dust. As for the wheels, these are pretty neat OZ 12. Yeah, 15, 12, 12, 15 spokes, I think. Okay. They're nice wheels. I wish they're utilized more often so you can have a little bit of variety. Maybe with a base model. I would like a base model. Base model innovative. I'm trying to get the chassis without destroying the car. Of course, this is the base. Of course, the tool hooks are part of the bumper. Of course, Jaguar XJS, which is absolutely massive. There are some chassis with some base detail, which is you appreciate. The exhaust pipes are painted, which are probably painted as part of the car. Of course, you got Inno64, 164, made in China. Of course, rubber tires as per usual. These are the correct slick tires. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the review. I like this casting, which I do appreciate from Inno64. Their products might be expensive, but they're really high quality. Of course, the XJS is definitely 100% high quality. In fact, mine has a kind of a weird wheel, which I will look. Just a second. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the only issue I could find with the XJS. It is absolutely spot on from innovative to do this guy. This is so lovely on all angles. Also, I did forget to mention the windscreen banner and the roof, which is very neat and empty with the foil on the roof. Windscreen banner is black with TWR Jaguar. Yeah, that's pretty much all for the diecast. We'll see you then for the next diecast.